Well, horse owners in the Rodney District are up in arms against fireworks and pyrotechnic displays, which they say spook their horses and in some cases lead to their deaths. Momentum is building for a change at local government level. A warning, this story contains graphic images and viewer discretion is advised. Here's John Watson with part one of his two-part story.
What we think is he's been grazing over here and he got such a fright that he knocked it, but it snapped.
And is this?
Yeah, that's where it snapped and went into it.
Okay, so this is where he fell here, on the other side of the fence?
Yeah, but he got stuck. See his hair, all his hair's still there.
It was a pyrotechnic display like this one that spooked Alice Hayward's horse and caused him to impale himself on a fence just last month. He'd lost too much blood by the time he was found and had to be put down.
He was one of a kind, thoroughbred. We had just got him sound again and he was just starting to get ridden. And he was a really good horse. More human than horse.
The Rodney District is one of the highest populated areas of horses in the country. Yet fireworks and even larger scale pyrotechnics can be set off all year round.
Well, with our legislation, it's pretty relaxed, like you can do fireworks with, at least 200 metres from a captive animal. That's the city, that should be the city, not for rural, and it can be heard for up to about 5 kilometres. So that should be, the range, because these are our livelihood,
Miss Hayward is not the only one in the district to have lost a horse due to fireworks.
So this is the spot, this is where he was buried. This is also the spot where he was born, which is why we brought him back here to be buried. I woke up, it was approximately midnight, and there was a massive bang. Looked outside, the sky was completely white, and the sky was just lit up, just bang, 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 bang. Two young horses were in this paddock, and I could see them galloping around like absolutely going crazy. Sebastian fell to the ground. And we didn't really realise he got himself up and he took off around the paddock again, and we didn't really realise that what had really happened until the next day, and we found him and he'd had a broken neck.
Shortly after the fireworks display that killed Miss Hayward's horse, Boom Boom Fireworks announced it was planning another pyrotechnic day in the area. Despite Miss Hayward's protests, they went ahead with it and ignored her requests for compensation. We couldn't find a physical address for Boom Boom Fireworks, so we called its director, Richard Mangoes.
Hi Richard, it's John Watson here from Country TV.
G'day John.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
That's good. I was just wanting to tee up an interview with you about Boom Boom Fireworks and their displays in rural areas.
Oh yeah, I don't give out interviews.
Okay. Well, we were just wanting to know why you went ahead with the pyrotechnics training at Jason Peters' property on Sunday after you were asked not to by locals and after the death of Alice Hayward's horse.
You'd have to put any questions you want to me in writing.
Okay.
And then I could look at responding.
Sure. What's your email address?
We received a response from Mr. Mangoes shortly after. He didn't answer our questions, but he did say he decided to cease firework activities in the area forthwith. The property Boom Boom Fireworks used for its pyrotechnic training day belonged to Jason Peters, another importer of fireworks in the area, who regularly tests his own pyrotechnics and lets other companies test theirs on his Kaukopakoppa property. He was planning on testing more that week.
Hi Jason, my name's John Watson. I'm a reporter for Country TV. How are you today?
Good.
We're just doing a story on fireworks in rural areas, and I was wondering if we could tee up a quick interview with you on camera about the issue.
No, I'd rather not.
Okay. Well, do you mind if I just ask you a few questions over the telephone? We've been talking to Alice Hayward, whose horse died as a result of fireworks last month, and she says that locals have asked you not to have the display this weekend, and because of its effect on horses in the area, and we were just wondering if you were planning on going ahead with it.
Well, they haven't asked me to not to do it. Actually, I don't know where you got that information from.
Were you aware of the death of Alice Hayward's horse last month?
I was aware of, I knew there was a horse that died in the area, but it wasn't as a result of anything I've done there. I've been, testing fireworks, and I've done displays out in the country where I live over the last 8 years.
We received a phone call back shortly afterwards from Mr. Peters, who told us that after thinking about it, he would not be setting off fireworks that Saturday.
Jason Peters didn't hold fireworks at his property here on the Saturday night, but it is worth noting that it was raining.
And locals we talked to said any suggestion that no one had raised the issue with him is simply not true.
I spoke to him, and Sandy, another neighbour of ours just 2 blocks up, has spoken to him. The last occasion was 4 o'clock in the morning when we were awake every hour. These they're not fireworks, they're explosives going off in the sky, lighting the sky up. So, and we were kept awake, and it wasn't until my neighbour went down and asked him very politely to stop doing it that he stopped doing it.
Hi Jason, it's John Watson here from Country TV. We're just in the area today and would like to have a chat to you, either on the phone or potentially on camera if you're comfortable with that, just in relation to some claims that people have talked to you about not doing your fireworks in the region.
Mr. Peters returned our phone call while we were talking to Mr. Gibson.
I haven't spoken to any of them that have said that to me at all.
Tony Gibson?
You there?
Yeah, Tony Gibson, he says he's talked to you before and asked you not to set off fireworks?
No, he might have talked to someone else, but I know Tony. He's a guy I spoke to last week, and he's never asked me directly to not let fireworks off.
Certainly Jason has changed his tune quite a bit. If his memory doesn't serve him very well, the first time he let the fireworks off at the corner property before the house was built, 3 of us neighbours went down there outraged and said, "What's going on?" And I think that was Pyrotechnics was the company then. In the past, we don't do New Year's Eve anymore because we know generally there's going to be fireworks down at that property. We haven't done that for 3 years because we need to be around for our horses. And yes, people with horses, they do have a problem with fireworks and always have done.
Mr. Peters told us his property is quite suitable for testing pyrotechnics and can't think of anywhere better. But that doesn't wear with the locals.
There is. There has to be. You've got the Muriwai bombing range. You've probably got right out the peak of Gulf Harbour. Put them on a barge out at sea where we can't really hear them.
I'm sure there are. Less populated areas where animals are present. And I know he said, it'd be inconvenient for him to have to travel too far. Well, it's actually inconvenient for us every time they go off to go out in the pitch black and check our livestock.
Go do it at somewhere where it's not populated. Even on the back, if you're going to do it in a rural area, go way to the back of some remote farm in a remote area, not in an area which is densely populated with like 10-acre blocks and boutique stud farms and, lifestylers.
If there's enough public support in the area and enough people saying, could you please stop holding fireworks displays on your property or letting other pyrotechnic companies do it, would you consider stopping it?
Oh yeah, definitely. If it's causing people issues, then yeah, I'll definitely consider stopping it. As I say, I hardly ever hold them.
Words locals will no doubt be happy to hear, but it's unlikely that will be the end of the matter. Momentum is building. A Facebook page created by Miss Hayward seeking to ban fireworks in rural areas has grown to over 430 members, and they've got local government in their sights.
No pyrotechnics in rural areas, and I think there is a growing number that are talking to their councillors right now, especially with the local elections coming up. We'll all be pushing for a ban, complete ban.
And that's something the local board is likely to seriously consider.
From my perspective, certainly that's something we'd look at. The area you're talking about is very heavily populated by people with equestrian interests, and I think there's more horses in that space per hectare than anywhere else in the country. So it may be appropriate for there to be some form of ban on this type of activity in that space. So from my perspective, yes, certainly.
The Devonport Takapuna Local Board imposed a blanket ban on fireworks in the Cheltenham Beach area after enough residents complained that youths were using them irresponsibly. If fireworks can be banned in Cheltenham, the case for pyrotechnics to be banned in Rodney certainly seems to hold merit. And in the lead up to local elections, candidates are looking for promises to make. John Watson in Rodney for the Daily Report.
Well, since filming that story, there have been reports of Jason Peters setting off more fireworks without consulting or notifying neighbours, and we have unconfirmed reports that another horse injured itself during a separate display.